Former President Donald Trump has been sitting there watching TV, theoretically reading the news, and not having anything he can say about it on a large enough platform since he's been suspended from Twitter and isn't really invited to many places. So he called up his buddy Sean Hannity and said, "I'd like to say something bigoted and racist." And Sean Hannity said, "Sure, come on down." Let's hear what he had to say.
And you know, there's one other thing that nobody talks about. So we have hundreds of thousands of people flowing in from Haiti. Haiti has a tremendous AIDS problem. AIDS is a step beyond. AIDS is a real bad problem. So hundreds of thousands of people are coming into our country. And if you look at the stats, if you look at the numbers, if you look at, just take a look at what's happening in Haiti, a tremendous problem with AIDS. Many of those people will probably have AIDS, and they're coming into our country, and we don't do anything about it. We let everybody come in. Sean, it's like a death wish. It's like a death wish for our country.
It's only been a majority this year that we haven't been having to hear Donald Trump every day and say things, but that was another instance of him tipping his lack of knowledge on something. Anytime he starts talking about something, he's trying to convince you that he knows. He'll go, if you look at the numbers, if you look at the situation, if you look at it, if you look at it, if you look at it. He says if you look at it 3 or 4 to 5 to 6 to 10 times, he hasn't looked at it and he has no idea what it is. And they also say, anybody who sees it will agree, anybody who sees it will say this. It's these tactics of pushing people's minds into thinking this guy is right because he looked at it. I have to look at it, but until I do, he's right. So obviously he didn't look at it because we're looking at it here. According to the UN AIDS estimates, just in last year, 2020, it has this graph and this arc of the prevalence of HIV and AIDS cases in Haiti, specifically in Haiti in this particular part. Percentage of population ages 15 to 49, which I would say that's about that age range you see coming in there with folks at the border. In 2020, it was down to 1.9% of the population there in that age range that is dealing with HIV/AIDS there. So as he said, it's overwhelming. They have a huge, major, outrageous problem with HIV/AIDS there. And once they come to America, they're gonna bring HIV to America because we don't have, it's not here. That doesn't happen. And so this is the racism that he likes to push and pull. And he's like, oh my God, black immigrants. Oh my God, they're from Haiti, so that means everyone's got AIDS. That's where his mindset is. That's where that's his comfort zone. That's where he sits. Anytime he sees a particular group that he dislikes, like let's go to what he talked about with Puerto Ricans when they were hit by Hurricane Maria, I believe. So let's go to that graphic really quickly. So he tweeted this, and it's no longer available, of course, because he's gone. Such poor leadership ability by the mayor of San Juan, this is in Puerto Rico, of course, and others in Puerto Rico who are not able to get their workers to help. This is for the cleanup efforts and fixing things. They want everything to be done for them when it should be a community effort. 10,000 federal workers now on island doing a fantastic job. So if you don't remember, this is the situation when he was having that fight back and forth with the mayor of San Juan, and when he was tossing paper towels at folks, and then when he said they don't know how to fix their own province territory because they should just kind of do it on their own. And when he shows up and he does a press conference or he does a round table and sits around and talks, that's all the help he needs to give. They're too lazy while he's the one who sits there and then breaks records on golfing while he was in office. That's his brand of racism.
Yeah, so I got one more clip for you guys, but I love what Jayar is saying because it's true. His racism is not only apparent, but it's also frozen in time. It's frozen in time in like the 1980s and 90s where he formed his racism and it never changed it. There was a AIDS surge in Haiti in the 1980s and 90s? Well, that's it, all Haitians have AIDS. I mean, what a comically stupid man, let alone mean and offensive and all those things. Puerto Ricans? I heard that they're lazy. Well, they can't fix their own problems. They gotta have other people do their work for them. Okay, how about Jews? Well, there's racism and anti-Semitism and bigotry for everybody. So this is him talking to Jewish Republicans. Listen to what he says.
A lot of you are in the real estate business because I know you very well. You're brutal killers, not nice people at all, but you have to vote for them. You have no choice. You're not going to vote for Pocahontas, I can tell you that. I'm a negotiator like you folks. We're negotiators. Do you want to renegotiate deals? Some of us renegotiate deals. I would say about 99.9. Is there anybody that doesn't renegotiate deals in this room? This room negotiates. I want to renegotiate this room. Perhaps more than any room I've ever spoken to. Maybe more. It's okay. I've been called on that a couple of times too. You're not going to vote for the wealth tax. You just like me because my daughter happens to be Jewish. Right? Even if you don't like me, some of you don't. Some of you I don't like at all, actually. And you're going to be my biggest supporters because you'll be out of business in about 15 minutes if they get it. So I don't have to spend a lot of time on that. We have to get the people of our country, of this country, to love Israel more. I have to tell you that. We have to do it. We have to get them to love Israel more because you have people that are Jewish people, that are great people. They don't love Israel enough. You know that.
I mean, he's unbelievable. He's like, I mean, you Jews, you like to renegotiate, perhaps more than any other room. And you have to vote for me because all you care about is money. And then, by the way, some of the sons of bitches in the room are laughing, right? You sellout clowns of the earth. By the way, none of this is true. Jewish Americans vote reliably Democratic almost more than any other group besides African Americans. About 70% in national elections vote for Democrats and voted against Trump. But in his racist and bigoted mind, he's like, Jews like money, they will all vote for me, okay? I mean, they go back on their word all the time. You know how they are, the Jews, right? The Haitians have AIDS. The Puerto Ricans are lazy. The Jews like money. Like, come on. I mean, it's so over the top. And let alone, of course, when it comes to black people in America, the Central Park Five, where they were acquitted, they didn't do anything wrong. It turns out there was another guy, we found his DNA, there's no question it was the other guy. They must have done something. Why? Because they're black and Latino, young people in Central Park. You know how the blacks are, they always doing something, they're always doing some crime. His racism is over the top, it's outrageous. And then you talk to right wingers, oh, I don't see it. You know why they don't see it? Because they're thinking the same goddamn thing.
His racism is truly boundless, and just the way in which he is incapable of not blurting out every racist, intrusive thought he has is impeccable, but like disgustingly impeccable. But he's also extremely xenophobic. And in that Fox News clip, he said, we're just letting anyone into this country. But I worked in immigration law last summer, particularly with asylum seekers. Almost all my clients were asylum seekers, and it's just lying. It's full on lie, all bull, because his administration systemically undermined the ability for people to migrate here legally and made it the process extraordinarily difficult. I mean, he enacted the horrifically named Migrant Protection Program, which is also the Remain in Mexico policy that forces every migrant that comes to the US border with Mexico, regardless of if they're what country they're from. So they're making people who are from Haiti or from Brazil who might not speak Spanish stay in a country that they're not from, that they're unfamiliar with the language of, maybe the culture of as well, in extraordinarily dangerous situations. And we've seen so much violence in these encampments, and we've seen a lot of sex trafficking. He also has Title 42, which Biden has used to deport these Haitian asylum seekers, these Haitian migrants, without due process. But even more than that, the way in which the administration, with laser precision, reorganized the immigration processes, made them as inefficient as possible. When you file for asylum, you have no idea when you're going to have your hearing, when you're going to have your interview. You don't know, your attorney doesn't know. Could be months, it could be years. I had a client who filed in 2018, she's still waiting. She's still waiting to be called for her interview. And she's sitting in limbo like so many other people who were seeking legal asylum. So, Trump is extraordinarily racist, xenophobic, but he's also a prolific liar. Dog-faced pony soldier.
That's awesome. All right, I gotta say a bunch of other things. By the way, if we're looking to ban people that have AIDS, which we should not be, okay? But if that's Trump and Hannity standards, 4 out of the top 10 cities in America that have the highest AIDS cases and HIV cases are in Florida. Okay, 4 out of the top 10. Guess who else is in Florida? Oh, Donald Trump. I guess we got to ban people from Florida. They got AIDS. What can we do? Now, how insane does it sound when you say it about Florida? Why does it sound less insane if it does to you and to Trump when it's about Haiti? I wonder why. So, and by the way, every part of his racism is projection. So Jews like to renegotiate. He went bankrupt 6 times and renegotiated his debt. No one has renegotiated more than Donald Trump, but he blames Jews for it. Lazy, he golfed 64 times in the first 9 months because Republicans were complaining about Biden doing it 10 times. He did it 64 times in the first 9 months. He's the laziest son of a bitch. You remember the executive time where he'd sit around watching Fox News and they're like, well, that kind of is working, right?
I forgot.
Okay, he's the laziest person in America. And then he's like, oh, Haitians have AIDS. Dude, you were raw dogging porn stars. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. I don't know what you have. I don't know if your rage is syphilitic or not, okay? But you're in no position to talk about people getting sexually transmitted diseases. And then finally, if we're kicking people out based on immigration issues, Melania Trump clearly worked here before she had papers. That is illegal, and hence she should have never gotten the papers in the first place. She is, and at the time she was an undocumented immigrant breaking the laws of this country. And everybody goes, oh, no, come on, you can't touch her, she's white. I mean, the president's wife, I mean, rich, I mean, wait, why doesn't the law apply to her? I don't get it. Which then would make, and hold on to your seats because everybody in mainstream media is about to lose their mind. That would make Barron Trump an anchor baby. Okay, now you're gonna say you can't say that about Barron Trump. Okay, that's his kids, right? Well, you say it about black kids all the time. You say it about brown kids nonstop. You say it about Asian kids. So it's okay to say it about other people's kids, but you can't say it about Melania Trump and Barron Trump because that would be mean. Well, why is it okay to be mean to minorities? That's because you're racist. Thank you, I thought so. There's no other reason.
My very last thought, the basis for these types of clownish, cartoonish style tropes is just to make it a normal level of conversation. So it doesn't have to have a full connection to it. So again, HIV/AIDS. So every Haitian's coming in has AIDS. How is it transmitted? Needles, sexual fluids, all those types of things, right? How is that then gonna destroy the entire country? If everybody from Haiti has AIDS, everybody's having sex with every Haitian that comes in, everyone's sharing needles and they're all drug addicts. All these assumptions would have to be added on to that sentence. So therefore, it's getting spread throughout the country because everyone is interacting with bodily fluids to the degree with all these Haitians that all have AIDS, and now the country is teeming with AIDS patients. That's the back end of this assumption you have to make, but you don't really think about that part of it. All you think is, oh my God, those scary black folks. And they're from another country too. Oh my God, even worse kind of black folks. They all have AIDS, and it ends there.
Super last thing on it, guys. Saying that immigrants are dirty and diseased is the oldest form of racism and bigotry there is. Every authoritarian, dictatorial government that did atrocities first called people non-human, diseased, and dirty. Tucker Carlson does it nightly, and this is Donald Trump doing it in the case of Haiti. Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, Jayar, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.